Hello, everyone, and welcome to Crazy Ladies Podcast with Mistress Magi and Mr. Magi.
No, you're not hearing things. We were both talking at the same time.
Today we're talking about people getting offended.
Or as some of you might know, in a term that some like and some hate, called snowflakes.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
I'm somewhere on the fence.
I'm also not a fan of people getting offended at stuff. I think it's ridiculous the way that it's going nowadays.
Well, there just seems to be this thing of entitlement because you're on this earth now.
Yeah. My whole thing has always been, live like everybody else is just a figment of your imagination. That doesn't mean that you get to control people. You're offended. Yay. Good for you. Now move on. It's...
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'll admit that snowflake might be a little harsh of a term, but I will agree that also in some cases it's very much the truth, and that's kind of the only word for that.
My personal opinion is it's more along the lines of a toddler.
Yeah.
Not really a snowflake. Yeah, you're having a meltdown, but it's far worse than a snowflake melting.
Yeah.
My finger can melt a snowflake.
True enough. Well, too, like a lot of people, somebody's wronged you for sure. You want that.
Yeah. Talking to the person about it, telling them your feelings.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, having a meltdown because your coffee at Starbucks is a little bit too hot. Like, that's kind of more of the people we're talking about. I mean...
That and people who get offended at, I have a morbid sense of humor. It is horrendously morbid. And you know this. But,
all too well.
The things in which offend people, I find hilarious. And when it comes to this show, I don't care if I'm offending you. I really don't. It's my opinion, my show, what it is that I want to see with it. And,
Yeah, by all means, have an opinion.
Mad. Have an opinion. That's the point.
Yeah, have an opinion. You're more than welcome to have an opinion. But I'll tell you this now. You know what opinions are, right? You know what they're like. They're like assholes.
We're trying to cut the swearing a little bit.
Well, I know, but
it's okay.
Drives the point home, right? Everybody has one. And, nobody's perfect. But as she was saying, some of the things that have offended people by what comedians have said and that she finds hilarious. And a lot of times, so do I. And it's funny because in the last few months, we've seen some of those comedians, from what they said back on Twitter, to be funny.
Yeah. Right?
And a joke. And in today's world, it gets taken out of context, and then now it's used against them. So now...
everybody's just looking for a reason to fight. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You guys, people want peace in the world, but they're constantly fighting. I find that a little funny.
Then you have those that go, well, you can't have peace without war. And it's like, well, actually, yeah, you can.
You can have peace. You have to fight for that peace, sure, but you don't have to sit there and honestly, what was it? I'm going to show my age here. Power Rangers. When they were out on the TV, at the end of an episode, they have a little thing in which taught you a lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She-Ra had it, He-Man had it.
They all
had
really
it. Showing my age.
Yeah, they all had it.
But they all had it. But Power Rangers, they did one in which there was a bully who's like, well, they're not like me. Well, if everybody was like you, how boring would the world be? If everybody liked what it is that you liked, if everybody thought the same thing that you thought, how boring would the world be? We wouldn't advance.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You have to have contradicting personalities. If you don't, you're just like, you're not being true to yourself.
Well, take video games, it's, especially watch the evolution of video games over the years. If it wasn't for people thinking differently and having different thoughts, we wouldn't have some of the games that we have today.
We wouldn't have the variety that we have today.
Like, take a classic game that's been around for a while. Take Zelda.
Yeah.
And I can remember, and I'm showing my age as well,
Zelda. I'm not the only one.
when it came out for the Nintendo system, I'm talking about the original Nintendo, the NES. I remember picking up the controller, playing it. I hated the game. Hated it. Couldn't stand it. Drove me nuts. Didn't like it. But yet, I'd talk to people all the time and be like, "Oh yeah, have you played that game Zelda?" I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't care for it. I didn't really like it." And then they're like, "Oh, did you?" And now, granted, back then I really wasn't much of a gamer, and back then it was okay not to be a gamer. But then moving into modern times, still dating myself, the Nintendo 64. Zelda came out again, called the Ocarina of Time. Everybody's favorite Zelda. I played it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've beaten it.
He beat my game.
Yeah, I took it over on her and beat it a few times.
I had to make another profile and beat it myself.
But that's one game that I would always go back to and always play, like a classic game. I wish there was somebody who would take certain scenes and they brought all the graphics up to date, like new textures, new 3D modeling, basically built the whole scene from the ground up. And there was one scene I played was in the Temple of Time, and you were Link, and you got to wander around and that, and you could lift the sword up, but it'd just bring you back, and it was cool. I would really love to see that game brought to today's graphics.
It would be really nice, like a reboot. But at the same time, that's all driving me insane.
Yeah, exactly.
Leave the goodies alone.
The thing with that is, as nice as that old stuff is, and nostalgia and stuff like that, if
you didn't have somebody saying, it could be better.
Yeah.
If you didn't have that, going against the grain, like, no, it really could have been better.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't have these cool things that you have now. Like, our first shooter game was Duck Hunt. And
yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I think I thoroughly enjoy Call of Duty a lot better.
Yeah. Right.
But no, it's just like the thought of people getting angry over every little thing out there. You can have your opinion, you can have that feeling without having to sit there and bash people.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's more of what the issue is. It's the way we go about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, people get, offended or hurt or this or that or, whatever.
Yeah.
And they sit there and they get so mad and so angry about it that they end up belittling someone else and making them feel horrible and whatever. I mean, is that really the way to go about it?
No, it's not. It's having your opinion and saying, hey, that's something which I don't like. Like, say, what is there? Breastfeeding in public.
Yeah.
So many people sit there and they bash it. I'm a breastfeeder. I have breastfed all my kids. I do not put a towel over their head or anything over their head because it's going to last there 0.2 seconds before they pull it off. There's no point. I tell everybody half of my city has seen my boobs, and if they haven't, they will shortly.
Yeah. And, people are like, oh, I don't want to see your boob in public. And it's like, is it really that you're really concerned about? Or is it your uncomfortableness because it's not something that's in your everyday life?
It's not being used the way that you've seen it being used.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not, I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that, I'm nourishing my baby. It's the fact that it's not being used for
What
a
we've
sexual
been
encounter.
kind of groomed for,
It's not being used to sell something. It's not being used to sexualize something or being sexualized.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that can't make that not determination. The word is escaping my mind.
That's okay. We'll come back to it.
We'll be like at the end of the podcast, and I'll just be like, "Oh yeah, that word."
Yep, exactly. But no, it's every little thing that somebody has done, every little thing that somebody does do, or anything like that. I think everybody just needs a Snickers.
Yeah, right?
Everybody needs a Snickers. It's like, calm your tatas.
Yeah.
Calm yourself. Because it's getting to be absolutely ridiculous. It's like every time you hear anything, it's just like, oh, no, this person's doing that. And I get it when it comes to racism right now.
Yeah, and
Racism should not be tolerated in any sense of the word. I don't think personally. But, like, something as simple as, like, people are getting all bent out of shape because of a hijab.
Yeah. Like...
or a burqa.
Thankfully, we live in Canada, and the racism is here. Absolutely. I'm not going to say, oh, Canada's, perfect. No, we're not. There's definitely racism, and in some of our bigger cities, it's more prominent. But it does happen where we live. We live in a smaller city, and... same thing, it's there, right?
It's there.
I can't say it's not there, but it is better than other places around.
If anything, from what we have seen from the States, it is better hidden than most places.
Yeah, exactly. But again, the thing about racism, something that has happened, usually when we hear the word racism, a lot of us just go right to
whites hating black.
Yeah, whites hating black.
Or whites hating Muslims.
Right, the two kind of major things now. Which
Muslim isn't a race. It's a religion.
Right? But that's just kind of what's been been at the forefront of racism for so long. But I mean, there's all different kinds.
We've seen one guy who was racist towards white people.
Yeah.
Black and whites together too, and
take neo-Nazis, right? Maybe neo-Nazi might not be the correct term, but basically the people who believe what the Nazis believed to an extreme level that basically if you don't have blonde hair, blue eyes, and pale
you don't have
skin,
pure white skin,
blonde hair, blue eyes, you're not pure, and they're racist against you, even though your skin color is the exact same as theirs, right? But the thing is, they're starting to become this culture that we were watching a video. It was like a countdown video, and there was this one guy. He said that this guy is a black man who just assumed that all white people are racist towards him, and the thing I don't get is why? Like, how do you grow up thinking that way, right?
It's taught.
I understand that.
Yeah,
it's taught.
It's taught. It's the parents have had a bad experience and have taught it to the kids. It's the same way in which white supremacy has come to be. It's, it's taught, and people believe it because, well, look at kids in Santa Claus, really.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah. Like,
you're taught it, you believe it, and it's just like, no, my parents said this, so it has to make it the truth. Yeah,
exactly. But, again, a thing about racism, you walk down the street, and we're taught, you see a black person walking down the street, you're taught cross the street. Don't walk past them.
Yeah.
And the thing about that is it because we're judging them because the color of their skin, they're associated with crime and everything else? And generally that's the case, right?
That's exactly
that's what a
what it
lot
is
of
that we're
people are
taught,
being
yeah.
taught. So, but for all we know, best example, let's take a person who's in traditional gang wear, I guess, I don't know, like the baggy jeans, the jersey, and typically what?
The bandana with the hat over top of it.
Yeah.
Your stereotypical.
Right, that
Yeah.
we all see. You see that person. The stupid thing is that you could go up to that person, have an intelligent conversation with that person, be one of the nicest people you meet, carry on your way. Then you run into another person who is well dressed, khakis, a dress shirt with the sweater
Polo
vest,
shirt on,
polo
kind of
shirt,
deal,
sweater vest,
yeah.
whatever. And it turns out he's the killer psychopath.
Look at Ted Bundy.
Let's say they, and I'm saying they have the same color of skin, whether it both be white, both be black.
I'm not saying that serial killers can't be of any other race, but a lot of them are white.
Generally, yeah. and
I'm not worried about the black man walking down the road. I'm worried about the white man.
Exactly. So, again, we're going up in this world where we have black youth growing up and feeling entitled that the white people owe them everything. But then, on the other side of that, then you have the white privilege of white people growing up and feeling like the world owes them everything because they're white.
It's everybody feels like that they're owed everything.
The world owes them something, right? And it's like if something's not right, well, by damn it, I'm going to go be a keyboard warrior on Twitter and destroy a company and blah, blah, blah.
I'm white, and I can tell you I'm not in the world's greatest position.
No,
Personally. Psychologically, mentally, financially, you name it. I don't feel like that the world owes me any of that, which is why I continuously fight to try to make my way in the world and to do the things that I love. I don't care how much money is coming in so long as, I'm enjoying what it is that I'm doing. If I don't enjoy it,
then I'm not going to keep doing that.
But I'm not going to sit there and think that the world owes me anything because...
Well, here's a prime example. So we went out for supper today and ordered supper, and then I brought it back home to my family, and we ate it. And my son wanted it was Subway.
Pizza sub.
He wanted a pizza sub. Well, I told the lady, I said, "Can I get a pizza sub, Melt?" And she was like, "Yeah," and carrying on. Part of it's my fault because I didn't kind of realize that it wasn't being made like a pizza. But at the same time, I spoke clearly and she heard me, but she continued to she made what they call a Subway melt, I think it is what it was. Just different cuts of meat and cheese and melted on it. Which, when we got home, he was a little disappointed, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, dude." But I told him, it's nothing that you haven't eaten before.
It's nothing that you don't like.
Yeah, it's not something you're not
it.
gonna like. Like, you are gonna like it, And I wanted to get a soup, their bowl of soup, because it's one of those rare times they have soup. Go to Subway, order soup. They almost never have it. I don't know about in the States, but in Canada,
around here, around us.
whenever I want to get soup with my sandwich, they never have it. I don't know why. They just always run out of soup and they don't have it made or whatever. I don't know. But I didn't get my soup, and I got a wrong sandwich for my son. You know what? I could have tweeted and
could have
Subway
gone back there and been like, "Hey, I want." But you also didn't pay for it.
Well, exactly, right? I didn't pay for the soup, right?
If you paid for it, then I could see going back and being like, "Hey, it's on my bill, but I didn't get it.
Yeah, and all they would do...
If you really wanted it, you could have hopped back in the car and gone and got it.
Well, exactly, right? But again, even if I paid for it and I went back and said, look, here's the receipt.
You're not going to be rude about it.
I'm like, I paid for a soup. I didn't get the soup. Do you have soup? And if they said no, which is my luck, I'd be like, okay, can you just refund me the difference? And I know it's only $3 or $4, but nonetheless, that's still $3 or $4 I'm paying for something I didn't get.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And that
I don't have to be...
is an entitlement because you did pay for it. You should be able to get it.
Right, but I don't have to be an asshole about it.
No.
Right? And that's kind of what's happening is that we've gone from just being like, hey, let's talk about it, let's come to a solution. No.
To instead, I want it my way. Blah.
Yeah.
My 3-year-old isn't even that bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you didn't give me my soup when I paid for it. Now you don't have any. You fucking owe me $200 million, whatever. But I'm not supposed to swear. Shit, my wife's... Yeah, see, I can't help it. You know what's ironic? She's usually the one that swears more than I do. Yeah, so... She's usually the trucker, and I'll be out with the kids, and we have older children, 12 and almost 10. We'll say 12 and 10.
Yeah. And
then we also have 3 and year and a half. Oh my God, he's a year and a half.
I know.
Anyway, so be out with the kids, and even the older ones we had this with when they were younger, and be out with certain people, and not that they cursed every other word, but...
One word slips from their mouth.
Yeah, they just be like, oh, make that big swear, say fuck or whatever. And be like, oh, I'm so sorry your kids are around. And I'm like, don't worry about it. It's nothing they haven't heard their mother say. We'll be back right after this short break.
We have a baby awake. Kind of. 3-year-old. All right, and we're back. And we have a 3-year-old with us. Welcome to parenthood, everyone. He's got a fever, so we've got to play with him. Well, not play with him. We've got to keep him company.
He likes to cuddle.
Yeah, so he's on Daddy going to sleep.
And this one is Daddy's boy through and through.
My poor honey. But yeah. Anyway.
After that nice rant and swearing, and then now a soft, tender moment.
It's an aw moment. But no, he's good. But no, I'm raising the kids personally. Well, we're raising the kids personally to not get offended at everything, not sit there and whine to get their way. And, if they want something, they have to work hard for it. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's what's missing.
Yeah.
And my personal opinion, and I know it's not going to be everybody's opinion, but it starts with, the trophies. Everybody gets a trophy, so everybody feels entitled to the trophy. Everybody feels entitled to feeling special.
Yeah.
And my personal opinion is you want to be on the team, you work your butt off to get on the team.
That's right. Now, it's kind of bittersweet for me because...
You are a football player.
I'm a football player, and I was quite good at it. So I knew I would make the team. But at the same time, the school I played football for, they were a more brainy kind of school. So tryouts for the football team were very few at that anyway. So they usually the amount of people that tried out, pretty much you made the team.
They had to make a team.
Yeah, they had to make a team. And generally...
Yeah, but at the same time, you guys did really, really well. So
not my first year. My first year,
your first year kind of flopped, but
that was okay.
Was it 3 years after that? You were perfect.
Yeah, we won the championship. 3 years.
He's a boaster.
Running. Nah. Hey, my last year we went undefeated, but that's nothing.
not at all. Nothing.
But again,
You're a loser. Come on now. No, I'm kidding.
We do have other schools and that they did have to have tryouts and had to cut players. And growing up, I pretty much played sports majority of my life, and growing up, I was on a few baseball teams and that, and I didn't make some of those teams, and then other times I was in the baseball tournaments, but
I'm okay with kids going and playing for fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not at tournament level.
I think there's...
Like, not at club level.
Yeah.
Like, just take them out to the ballpark and just play. But... Like, I wouldn't let these guys sign up for baseball because of that. And, yeah. I wouldn't let these guys sign up for baseball because of that, because everybody was able to get on the team. Everybody was on a team. Nobody had to fight for their spot. And I want these guys to learn that they're not just going to be handed stuff. They're not going to be handed the job that they want. They're not going to be handed the education that they want. They have to fight for it. They have to be the ones to actually go get it. And if they don't get what it is that they want. Like, what was it? The second oldest was in karate and said that he wanted a belt, but he didn't want to have to go anymore. He wanted to change the belt color, but he didn't want to test out. Yeah. And even his sensei was like, "No, you don't get a belt. You don't come, you don't get a belt."
Yeah, because we ran into we go to the Y, and that's where he was doing it. I know some people are like, "Oh, the Y," ugh. And then others like, "Oh, the Y is really good." Where we live, the Ys that we have, they're actually really good. They're on the better side, especially the ones that we go to. Anyway, so we were there for something else, swimming lessons, and
he ran into
the sensei, and I said, maybe let the sensei know that
you don't want to do it
anymore, and say thank you for at least taking the time. And it's like, okay, so I stop her, and he says thank you, and he says, but I do still want that belt. And she just looked him dead in the eye and said, well, you want the belt, you gotta do the test, and also mom and dad have to pay, which, well, that's a whole another thing. But
we would have done it. He just didn't want to do it, so I wasn't going to put the money into it.
Yeah, exactly.
And not show up.
He was a little disappointed because he wasn't getting the belt, but nonetheless, worst case scenario, he pouted for a minute, said, okay. I said, yeah, but you don't want to do the work for it. So, okay, carry on his way, right? Unlike what's happening now, people are like, well, I put 5 minutes of work into this. I deserve that
half an hour break.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Now, I'll admit, there are some jobs where you go in for 20 minutes and it's like the hardest job of your life. And
yeah, and those I get. When you've earned it, that's just it. When you've earned it, then you get that break.
Yeah, exactly.
Some jobs, you earn it quicker than other jobs. And, it's...
Oh, it reminds me of a guy I used to work with. This guy, oh man, he was hilarious. It's funny, I've been at the store a little longer than he was, but he had a little more experience overall. And he came in, and this guy, like clockwork, would take a day off. So where we worked, it was a retail, and if you work retail here, you get your 2 days, but they're usually never
in a row.
They're, you'll get like a Monday or a Wednesday, not right, and then next week it might be Wednesday and Friday, right? So, and praise the Lord, you got Sunday off. Oh, it was a miracle if you ever got a Saturday or a Sunday off.
Yeah, most retail stores here, it's Saturday and Sundays are a must
generally
for at least a lot of people.
Yeah, well,
the more
near
employees
the
you have,
end,
the better.
I moved into a full-time position, so I did get a few more Sundays off than usual, but Saturdays were usually nope.
Everybody had been.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so this guy, so you got your regular 2 days off. Well, this guy, for whatever reason, and they were paying him salary, so it didn't really matter if he took a day off. But every week, he had to have 3 days off. He'd work 4 days a week, and but then they did take him off the salary and put him on an hourly rate, and then he'd come into work the next day, like after payday or something, and be like, I really thought I was gonna get, I only worked this many hours, they said I only worked this many hours, they owe me, and I was like, dude, you took like last Tuesday off, that goes on to this, I thought that would go on next. The guy was clueless, he was just...
Yeah,
and he felt...
That's my problem.
And he'd bitch to us, like the other employees, like, I should be getting this. I work twice as hard, because he was kind of in like a managerial position, more assistant, and did fuck all. But hey, there I go again. But nonetheless, like he just felt entitled that he should have 3 days off a week, but get a
still get the
5-day
same,
pay.
5-day pay.
Right.
Yeah, and that's just not the way that it goes. And I've seen that, and, people say that it's millennials that do that. That's not the case. I've seen it with every age group. I've seen people, like, I've worked at a place as well, obviously, where...
I think most of us have worked at a place.
Yeah, exactly. But I've worked at a place where I was assistant manager, or, like, somewhere up in there. Yeah, I was assistant manager. But I was the youngest person to work at that store, and nobody liked the idea of me being younger than them and, being in a higher position than them. And
that's
I
don't care who it is. Like, you walk in it, like, people hate that. They hate it.
They hate it when their superior
is
is older than them or younger than them. And you know what? That person might have more experience in what it is that she's doing. Like, the store in which I was at was a bunch of, like, much older ladies that worked there, and I just liked fashion. So I went in there and did the work, and put my nose down, and did what I needed to do, and was there available every time. So I did the work. I deserve what it is that I got.
Yeah.
They didn't do the work. They don't get what it is that they think they deserve.
Yeah.
It's the culture of entitlement, I think, is what it is. Culture of, I get what I want and nobody else matters.
Yeah.
And since when did even to a degree, I understand if you're rich, because you have the money to kind of throw around to get whatever it is that you want.
Yeah, and, well...
It turns you into a D-bag, but you have the money to do that.
Exactly. And
when did the poor hit that stage?
Well, and that's because there's a lot of poor people that are getting sick of seeing this person becoming rich, this person, that person.
But they don't want to do the work for it.
Well, exactly, right? And
you want to become rich. You want to become successful. You want to become all that. Do the work.
Yeah.
Like my first few videos. I wasn't like... One's an introduction, one's a full-length video, and after that I kind of flaked a little bit because my computer sucks major monkey butt.
Yeah, there was some technical difficulties, but again, nonetheless, we still could have either found another way or so on and so forth, but nonetheless, that's why we moved into this. It's technically a little...
Easier on my computer.
Easier on the computer, yeah. And the way our schedule is right now.
Do I think I'm entitled to a brand new computer? No, I've got to work for it, which is what it is that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to earn the extra money for what it is that I want, but I want the business to be the side in which, makes the buying the product so much better.
Yeah. But, well, like you were saying with rich people, yeah, they have the money in that. Also, too, like, there's nothing wrong with being like, I deserve this. And,
no.
And I I deserve to be paid this if you're working a job, right? This is my, take somebody who's, take contractors or somebody, landscapers or kind of a thing. They get paid X amount of dollars an hour, right? And they put in
a ton of hour and physical labor.
Yeah, exactly. And they're running a business. I know a lot of landscapers here where we live, the owner is on that lawnmower and going out to these places, driving the truck around.
They're picking people up to take them.
Yeah, exactly,
to the job.
Right? So they say it's this, they charge you this, right? That's their rate to cut your lawn, right?
Yeah.
Which is fine. And in that instance, they're like, yeah, no, this is what it is. This is what
when you're doing the job, that's just it. When you're doing the job,
and doing the job,
then you deserve
and saying, okay, this is what I deserve for the job. And as long as it's a fairly priced, like to cut a 10 by 10 lawn would probably only be like $50.
We don't know.
10 by 10.
Heads up, we don't know. If there's anybody out there who is a lawn maintenance person.
Yeah, it does.
We don't know. We're just rounding the numbers.
Easy math here, right? Saying that's $50 for that size of lot, right? And let's say there's 10 of them on the street. Well, 10 times 50 is 500, so he gets $500 for doing the whole street, right? That have these same size lot. Well,
I don't know if it's 500 though.
For the whole street, though.
Yeah, I know.
10 places at 10 by 10 at $50. 10 times 10.
Right.
It's 500.
I thought that you said 5.
No, I said 500. I said 50.
I thought that you said 5. You know what? We'll find out afterwards. I edit this. I'll find out what you said.
I said $50
yes,
for 10.
Yes, this is the type of person I am.
I said $50 for a 10 by 10 plot of grass to be cut. That's how much it costs, and then he has the whole street, and let's say
I heard 5.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what it is.
Number we landed on, 500, right? So 10 by 10, it's $50. That's the point. But then there's the guy at the end of the street. Well, because he has a corner lot, he has two. He has his front and backyard now, and he has a bigger front yard, which is like 20 by 20. Well, he goes, okay, well, if 10 by 10 is 50, and you have essentially two of those, your price is $100. Well, that guy is going to be like, well, you charge that guy $50.
Well, yes, because it's less work.
Right, and then the business owner, the landscaper, tries to convey to that person, like, well, look, I charge $50 for 10 by 10,
and yours
square.
is a 20 by 20,
So you have double the land, so it's double the price for you. That's my rate. That's what it is.
Don't like it? Bye-bye.
Exactly.
And that's the type of person I am. If a business owner sat there and didn't stick up for the employees and for his business,
and what we see
you're
happening,
only going to get pushed around.
What we see happening is that the customer goes, oh, well, you charge my neighbors, neighbor on one side, neighbor on the other. You charge them $50. Why ain't I getting? I'm in the middle. I should at least get some kind of discount. Blah blah blah. I want to talk to the owner. I want to blah, blah, and
I am the owner.
The owner
Bye-bye.
goes, hi. A good businessman will go, well, I'm sorry you feel this way. You're more than welcome to go find somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
And then walk away and leave it. But what's happening with other businesses is that they're caving to that stuff, right?
Yeah, and that's getting really annoying. Seeing it on the news, it's like, well, this person has done this. Like, we're seeing it with YouTube and the ad apocalypse and that sort of stuff. It's, everybody's got this warrior mentality when it comes to it. And the people who are getting screwed are the people who barely make any money on it. Yeah. I don't care if I make money at this. This is for fun, by the way. I say it's for a business. The money is just extra. I have to put money aside for a new computer. But no, this is for fun. This is for me to, if it makes money, great. If it doesn't, great. Don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not going into it looking for money. But there are YouTubers out there who were making a living off of this and now aren't making a whole lot. All because one person got offended over something. And I get it to a degree.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing to say is, why judge the masses based on the asses? There's going to be people who fuck up in every situation. And
Yeah.
yes, now it's my turn to swear. There is going to be people who mess up in every situation. There's going to be people who mess up in every business out there. You can't sit there and make it anything else.
Yeah, and
We're human.
I think what ends up happening is that we keep getting this corporate stuff thrown into our faces. Like Walmart, they're this big conglomerate company, in which, yeah, they are, absolutely, anything else. But nonetheless, at the end of the day, the person you talk to,
it's not their fault.
Because something has gone wrong. Yeah, it's not their fault. It's not their,
unless they're the ones who sat there and
be frustrated.
Sat there and treated you unfairly, treated you racially, treated you sexist way, treated you in any of those. That's the employee's problem.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not the business's problem. If it's something that's on the policy, that's the business's problem, not the person's problem. I don't know how many times we got yelled at in retail over things that were not in our control, even as an assistant manager.
At the same time, though, for us, because of the way we conduct ourselves, we've had customers, and I know I've had customers come in screaming, flipping out, being downright, just ignorant people, and you don't want to deal with them. But when you're in that job, you have to. You don't have a choice. I've been able to calm that customer down, come to a resolution, calmly, too, mind you. That's the important thing. Calmly. Come to a resolution that's fair for both, not just me as an employee, but for my company that I'm representing, and for the customer. And the customer says, if I have a problem again, I'm coming back to see you specifically. Because
we fight for the customer more than the company.
And yeah, people make mistakes, right? We get lost behind
I've made mistakes.
People get lost behind the company of Walmart.
Yeah.
Right? Or behind the company of whatever.
This or that, Target, whatever. Doesn't matter what it is.
And because one person in that, that works for that company treated you so poorly,
all of a sudden the whole company is
shit now.
Shit, yeah. And that's not the way that it is. It's the same as, if I'm having trouble with cable or the phone or anything like that. I don't call and yell at the employee because it's not their fault. It's, I'm feeling frustrated. This is my problem. Can you help me? Now, if that employee becomes dumb and I have to repeat myself 4 times, then I'm going to get a little angry.
Yeah.
No, this specifically spelled out for you.
And some of those customer service people, they don't like it when you're smarter than they are.
Some, not all.
Not all. I've called companies, customer service, right, and been ready to just fucking tear somebody a new asshole. But because I talked to the person on the other line, and they were sweet and listening and actually going, oh, okay, I wasn't aware of that. Thank you for letting me know. Let me look into it to confirm. Okay, I'll give you... They come back and say, oh, you were right, and,
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to deal with people if, they're not having a crappy day. If they're not having a crappy day, and they're having fun with their job, great. But I get, in customer service, you lose your soul. You really do. And it's not fun. So I get that.
Yeah, we truly believe that every person, and for anybody who's fresh out of high school or 16,
still in
at
high
least
school.
16 and kind of older and about to get out of high school, and you're entering your first job, we recommend work retail for at least a year to 2 years. Any retail job, I guarantee you will never want to work retail again. And you will have a new appreciation for
the people who do work there.
Yeah, exactly. So that you become a better customer.
You'd be able to handle conflict a little bit better, I
Yeah.
think. And I think that's maybe one of the issues, is not as many people are going and working at 16 years old anymore. So I know you didn't.
I didn't.
But you did work retail.
I had vices in place that I didn't. I had an option to not work at 16.
Yeah.
Put it off for a couple of years till I got through high school, and then start working. And yeah, I had to start in retail, which okay, that's fine. But there's nothing wrong with starting.
No, there's nothing wrong with starting in retail. You get excited about that first job. You're like so happy. But you learn how to deal with customers because you're not allowed to sit there and yell at them. You're not allowed to sit there and cuss them out. You're not allowed to do anything like that, or else you lose your job.
Yeah.
So you learn how to work around the conflicts a little bit better.
Yeah, and you learn not to escalate something if it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't let customers get away with crap, but at the same time, I also wouldn't let the company get away with crap. I'm just one who won't let people get away with crap, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. And that might be another topic because we're getting into
we're a little high up there. So we're going to
and
be ending at, maybe we'll do like a part 2 at one point.
Yeah, maybe.
Entitled People Part 2.
Couple weeks. Maybe not so much entitled people as in your role as an employee.
Yeah.
No, that was more.
We'll do a training program.
Yeah. Like, wow.
What to do and what not to do in a conflict situation at work.
Well, not just that, but also like what power do you have as an employee? Because we just got...
It's different in different areas.
We kind of got faced with this situation a little bit this week already.
You're kind of getting into it again.
I know. I'm just...
We love you guys just too much, even though there's like 3 people listening right now.
I'm just trying to leeway to how we could go into more detail about this.
Yeah, we could.
And
you know
that's what I'm saying. And
if you have any suggestions, let us know. If you have any topics, let us know. We'd love to talk about stuff, and we're very good at it.
This will be on... This podcast will be on YouTube, so you can leave comments there.
Yeah, comment, like, subscribe. SoundCloud, you can comment and like there. You can subscribe everywhere. I'm trying to get it on everything.
All the platforms.
All the big ones. If you know any that I don't know, let me know and I'll try to put it on there. I know it's on Google right now and Apple soon, I hope. Crossing fingers. Spotify. If you have any other program sites, let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know what you like to listen on, and I'll do my best to get us there.
Yep, sounds good. But as it is right now, I think, what is it? Cloud? What were you saying?
SoundCloud,
that one.
Can you tell I'm the one at the computer?
Yeah. SoundCloud and YouTube is probably the best way to
Those
comment.
Those are the best ways, yes. I'm also on Twitter. You're not set up just yet.
Not for this yet.
Not for this yet, no. You barely even go on the one that you're on.
Hey, I get the tweets. I look at the tweets. I just don't comment or post.
He likes computers. He just doesn't go online very often. That's basically it.
Stay tuned for our next topic, social media.
Yeah. Now, if you want to hear stories, if you want to ask questions for us, like, go ahead. You can find me, Mistress Magi, on Twitter, on Instagram, on like Facebook pages.
All that, Magi?
Mistress Magi. What did I say, Mr. Magi?
No, you said Mistress.
Oh, Mistress Magi. Oh, thank God.
I'm just making sure that all the
Mistress Magi is all the handles, from what I understand. Or else, if you're like wanting to get on the YouTube but you don't want to look it up, you can actually look up the link mistressmagi.com. It takes you right to our YouTube page.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll see you next time. Now just get everything else on there. Yeah, right. We will see you next time.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you. Bye. Love you.